So what's the band up to at the moment?
We're actually recording at Rack Studios, which is owned by the very famous Mickey Most, who was really good at things like Hit the Deck. So he's given me a lot of advice this morning about how to speak about the bands that are going to be on this session.
Is it all kind of like 70s in there, plenty of sheepskin carpets and all that sort of gear in the studio?
It's totally Jim Rockford in there.
Oh, excellent. And do all the guys and gals have bubble perms that work there and all that sort of stuff?
It's not quite like that. I mean, especially Mickey's really tried to sort of get 90s, but he just can't, he just can't do it.
What, 1982 is that or something like that, or sort of staggered on?
And all the residential apartments there just look like something out of Department S, it's very Jason King, sort of sunken jacuzzis downstairs and, sort of sauna. There's a sauna right at the very top, and there's a bedroom. So you go in and there's a bed and then a jacuzzi, and then you go to the middle floor and there's a bed and a sunken bath, and you go to the top floor and there's a bed and a steam room. So
it's getting naked, whatever's in the room.
Yeah,
it's sauna or bed.
Place,
excellent. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to say we're joined by Stewart Lee, who's I suppose can you sort of warm up for Edinburgh? I mean, I know that you do sort of gigs and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, we got this. Me and Rich Herring are doing a show there for like two weeks. We'd just done a little tour. We did about 10 dates on tour about 6 weeks ago. Got quite a good 2 hours together, got back, forgot to write any of it down, forgot everything, and spent the last 2 nights trying to sort of remember it on stage in front of paying customers. But we seem to have clawed it back from the brink, so yeah.
Oh, excellent. So a bit kind of is a bit like Waiting for Godot down at the Battersea Arts Centre, where you sort of looking at each other in big pauses and all that?
No, we fill up the pauses by sort of jabbering along, so there's probably about as much information as there is in Waiting for Godot, but it's filled up with meaningless noise. So, it was good fun though, we had a good time.
Yeah, and of course, old Nancy Boy has his play on there as well.
He's written a play now, The Vain Man, yeah. And I mean, I was just saying before, I'd have been as pleased as the next man if it had been a terrible waste of time and he'd emerged looking an idiot, but it is actually really good. So he must be destroyed for that. Yeah. But no, it's great, really good. It's called Punk's Not Dead. And the really annoying, irritating character in it is obviously based on me, so I'm really pleased about that, obviously. But it's good.
Immortalised on the people in 50 years will be saying, do you know this part was based on the real life Stewart Lee? But
yeah.
Well, listen, we're going to we'll talk a little bit more about what you're up to at the moment, but we're going to kick off first with something from Patti Smith, first heard on this show in May this year. If we can blow her trumpet, even a vague sort of fart from the horn. It's taken from the current LP, Gone Again, and its release coincides with her first dates here for many years with a full band. She plays Shepherd's Bush Empire on the 7th and 8th of August, and she's going to be here with us. So there you go. This is Patti Smith. That's Patti Smith, Summer Cannibals, the first single to be taken from her new album, Gone Again. Our reviewers are Jake from My Life Story and Stewart Lee. So, Stewart, would you like to go first? Sorry, I sort of stumbled over it. It was a 50-50 choice. But
yeah, no, it's great. I really liked it, and it's really nice to be able to come on these things and enthuse about something, because usually you get just loads of sleeper records and you have to sit around looking embarrassed. So it's really great, I really liked it. And it's nice, like, people coming back from the 70s and being really good again, rather than just carrying on being rubbish for decades like Bowie. So, it's just brilliant. I'd really like to hear the album now, actually.
Yeah. Talking of which, actually, Oasis took an ad out in the NME this week, to say the Sex Pistols were best band in the world. And as one sad old punk who trailed off to the Shepherd's Bush Empire, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, well, I saw it at Finsbury Park and I thought it was brilliant as well. And I did a piece about it for the Big Issue, because like all the reviews were really mithery about it. It's like before, all these kind of style journalists had set them up saying, oh, it won't be any good, it'll be dreadful, it's not what punk's about. Then you went along on the day and it was really good, but they couldn't admit they'd made a mistake. So you just had all these reviews that, despite the evidence to the contrary that it was great and everyone loved it, still insisted that it was a tragic event, even going as far as to make up stuff that didn't even really happen, on the day. So, they were good. I mean, it's different to her coming back. The Sex Pistols just came back and just played every song they ever wrote, which took about an hour and 20 minutes, and then went off again. Whereas Patti Smith coming back and doing something really good is something vital and modern is not the same. But it's not intrinsically bad for people to be old enough to look like they need a bit of a shave, like she does. But
she's got much
what a gender
armpits than the Sex Pistols.
True.
I think.
Well, just everything generally is nicer, I think.
So, Jake, what did you think? Did that do anything for you?
Yeah, it was okay. being a musician, you know, of the new generation, as it were, I do.
Is that the name of the band then? Have you sort of ditched my life story?
Jake and the new generation.
The new generation.
Do you have dancers?
Yeah, Oscar. Prince has gone on, like, taken over now. I just kind of find, I do usually find it very difficult to listen to or appreciate anybody that comes back, because I think there are too many people that make comebacks more than any other era.
But do you just
the 90s has just been sort of littered with comebacks, and especially old records, you know, all these number ones that have been from adverts and stuff. But
so you didn't go to Wembley to see the Eagles then?
No, I didn't. And you know, I think, I don't know, I was just looking at the single, and I noticed it's on Arista Records, and the only Arista record that I own is Barry Manilow. So there you go.
I think you've basically torn your previous statement to shreds by that there.
Well, Barry Manilow's just been there, hasn't he, I suppose, but...
yeah.
So there's reason not to like it, just 'cause
no, I didn't. I was going to then say...
Give him a chance,
I was then going to say that, I don't really know enough about her, really, to comment, but... I remember there was this amazing band called Birdland that used to do a cover of one of her songs, White Nigger.
Yeah, from Birmingham, weren't they?
And they just, the only time I ever, I heard that track, and they just completely smashed the whole... I was running a club called the Panic Station, and they played the track. They did
I think it's called Rock and Roll Nigger, isn't it?
Was it Rock and Roll Nigger? And they did a 4-song set in something like 3 minutes, and they smashed all their gear up. And their manager came to me afterwards and said, "How much were you going to pay us?" And I said, "It's £300. And he said, "How much damage did we do?" And I said, "Well, you smashed up 3 microphones, 4 microphone stands, and an amplifier, and that comes to another £400 on the top." And he actually had the money in his hand. He just rolled it straight off.
Excellent.
So Patti Smith's definitely good for something. She inspires new people.
She made you 400 quid as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, she's I think it's good, and the album actually that is one of the sort of rockier tracks on it. The album itself is more a lot sort of acoustic stuff, but it's great. Like, she's still a really good songwriter. And I should say, actually, when we mentioned Oasis, that Alan McGee from Creation is going to come on Drive Time in about an hour and a half's time, and he's going to hold forth on why indeed they are still the greatest band in the world. So it's probably going to go over the top to the point of sort of sickening. Like, it's not enough to say, yeah, they were brilliant again.
Well, it's funny that piece came out, because like Richie's written this play, Punk's Not Dead, and it's about people on the day going to see the Sex Pistols, and we had a really long chat about it afterwards, and you know, there's loads of stuff in it about people's low expectations of it, and then they were kind of good after all. And I hope somebody connected with them gets to see the show, because all the idea of it really is you just wanted to go along and say thanks, you know, even if they were rubbish. Like, that's what I felt about the Velvets 3 years ago. You know, they were a bit rubbish at Wembley, but it didn't really matter, because at the end everyone went, "Oh, great, thanks a lot. You were quite good a long time ago, even if you were a bit sad today." It didn't really matter. You just wanted to say thanks. But this Patti Smith single was really good in its own right. You don't have to, like, be embarrassed about it.
No,
really great.
No, not at all. Yeah, plenty of edge on it. Well, we'll continue then with somebody else that was big in the 70s, but never went away. This is Paul Weller. Whenever you're ready.
He's gone away.
No, he hasn't. Yeah. And that sounds a bit like Patti Smith, doesn't it? No wonder didn't want to play again. The CD was trying to do me a favour, try to fight against the basic incompetence of this presenter. But anyway, this is Paul Weller, new single from him. Sorry?
How long have you been doing this?
Long enough to not have to do mistakes like that, I suppose. Shared, yeah. That's a new single from Paul Weller, Peacock Suit. Stewart Lee, are you a Weller fan? And if so, did that live up to
Well, I've got a bit of a problem with Paul Weller, because when I was about 14, I got beaten up. I was sitting on a bench outside Solihull Library while I was reading a book for not liking the Jam. This bloke came up to me and he went, "Do you like the Jam?" And I went, "Well, all right." And then he kicked me repeatedly in the head, and I had to go into hospital, and eventually got £10 compensation through taking him to court for not, you know, I got like 10 quid out of not liking the Jam, which at the age of 14 was a lot of money. So
he went out and bought a Star Plan.
That's probably right. Smashed it to bits. So like I sort of when I was a kid, everyone that liked the Jam, they were the most unpleasant, thuggish people, which was really strange, because they were like quite a cool band, really. It was really weird. I find Paul Weller just funny, really. I mean, we often listen to old Jam stuff on the tour bus, because like everyone really likes it, but also the lyrics are so sort of earnest. They often hit like Mr. Clean and Smithers Jones and stuff. I think that's some of the funniest songs ever written accidentally. And Bruce Foxton and the other blokes, whose name I can't even remember.
Rick Buckler.
Yeah, their book about being in the Jam is an accidentally hilarious book with loads of stuff about how they couldn't understand when like Weller was falling out with them, because they always used to like, you know, go to the loo in each other's beds and stuff, and thought it was really funny, and then they'd complain that Paul was going off around art galleries with sort of socialist women, and he didn't seem to find that fun anymore, you know, now he changed and stuff. You just think it must have been so embarrassing for him, going around with these blokes who are going, hey, I've done a shit in your bed, Paul, great, and he'd be going, oh, I'm going off to read a George Orwell novel, goodbye. So, I don't know, I just can't really get into him, because I've got this, I just think of him as a slightly ridiculous figure, but, you know, good luck to him, eh?
Okay, well, that's good luck to Paul Weller from Shirley. What about Jake from My Life Story? What do you reckon?
Well, the irony of that story is that I was at the Tate Gallery yesterday, and I saw an exhibit of a bed with a turd in the middle of it, saying Bruce Foxton's turd, £1 million.
Well, you have to do something, you know, when the band broke up,
it wasn't in a tank of formaldehyde.
But was Paul Weller there looking at it, making a sort of serious, earnest, art appreciating face?
What comes out goes round.
That's right, yeah.
Yes, indeed, or sticks to the sheets, as the case may be. Well, anyway, that's the new single from Paul Weller.
I haven't even mentioned it, but we talked about his excrement in bed.
Indeed.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah, anyway, so Broad Arts kind of remit this show, I think. We'll cover it. So what about the song?
No, I did like it. I thought it was a sort of canny mix of early Jam in there. I think that he's had a lot of criticism for going a bit too sort of, you know, adult rock. Although, yeah, going back to the lyrics, I mean, they do make me crease up laughing. Sort of a ball of greased lightning in a sheepskin coat, I thought was absolutely superb, and wished I'd written it myself.
Who do you reckon that's about? A ball of greased lightning? That's a particular person, maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know.
Mysterious
Greased Lightning is a great song, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's one good element. But no, I did enjoy it, especially like the end coda.
The end coda? What's the coda?
Sort of repetitive.
He's a musician.
He's in everything that goes.
Just pretend to understand.
Groovy. Yeah, just nod.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, I mean, because sometimes he does sound, you know, his voice has got a lot kind of more expressive, I suppose, and more soulful, but...
He smoked a few fags, I think, in the intervening time.
Some quite strong ones, I believe, maybe snap the filters off once or twice. But sometimes he does sound like, you know, just a bloke with a really brilliant record collection.
Yeah.
You know. But so that's a good place to be. So what are you going to do with My Life Story then once the album comes out? Is it going to be the big rolling review thing with everybody on stage and around the country? Or are you going to
we always have done that anyway. I mean, we've always gone out as an 11-piece band. I kind of like the football team mentality of it, you know. But
does anyone ever get sent off, as it were?
Yeah, there's a few people. Yeah, a few people. A few sliding tackles on stage as well.
Are you kind of friends with members of the band, or if you're kind of leading it, do you have to be the kind of the guy with a sort of bullwhip and stuff, and the massive egotist that gets your sort of vision played properly, whether anybody's crying or not?
Well, I'm definitely a massive egotist, but no, the rest of it.
Right.
No, I think when you've got that many people, I mean, it's like you sort of get this sort of gang type spirit, you know. It's that when we do gigs and we do festivals, we play with other bands, it really is sort of like over the wall, everyone, you know, and everyone, you get an incredible sort of atmosphere.
So you just leave the festival site then, or?
Sorry?
No, nothing. It was just, you know, over the wall and all that. But but it works though. There's a kind of a collective us against the world, Joey.
Oh, no question. I mean, we're like a village, you know.
There aren't little clinks in the band, don't you? Get like the string section sticking together and feeling a bit superior to people who can only play guitars or whatever.
Well, it's obviously in sections because there's a brass section, string section, and rhythm section. But I mean, I suppose over the 6 years that we've been going together, I've had to sort of semi-teach the string players the sort of pop element, you know, elements of pop music that are essential, and they've taught me, you know, Wagner and beautiful music, and
nice choice, Wagner, with a sort of neo-fascist overtones for yourself as a band leader, of course.
Over the wall.
Yeah. So, Stewart, I suppose you and Mr. Herring are kind of you must find it difficult to build up that kind of village feel with just the two of you on tour.
Well, luckily, we'll have multiple personalities, so we're able to do that. No, but it's like it's a very tight unit. We've actually found it a lot easier touring around since we have Kevin Eldon with us quite a lot now, the actor Kevin Eldon, and so it means we can take it in turns to gang up on each other. It helps to sort of diffuse the tension a bit.
Are you just going to do more telly stuff then, off the back of Edinburgh then?
I'm doing a pilot for Channel 4 in September of a sort of cabaret kind of show with bloke, Simon Munnery, who does Alan Parker, Urban Warrior.
Yeah.
A really good comedian called Roger Mann, who sort of gave up, but we're tempting him out of his bed, sitting away from the internet, back into the world, and Kevin Eldon. And then me and Richard got a meeting next week, actually, at the BBC, about a third series, so hopefully that'll be all right. If they can give us enough money to make it properly, then we'll do it.
Is that production values rather than fees?
Yeah, production values, because, I mean, they're sort of...
It must cost a fair whack, first of all. I mean,
it costs less than most things, because I think the French and Saunders hat budget is higher than our entire series. But you know, I mean,
that's the line you're going to take then when you
yeah, I've got it all worked out. I'm going very aggressively and confrontationally, I think, and then go, oh please, let us do another one at the end. See what happens. So, you know.
To look cute.
But yeah, probably next year. Yeah.
Good one. Okay, well, look, we'll come back and hear new records from the Wannadies, Crowded House, Mice, and Alice in Chains, if we've time. It's 5:30. Oh, here we go.
The Crown Prosecution Service says it won't be bringing any criminal proceedings over the Marchioness pleasure boat disaster.
Thanks very much indeed. Well, in the absence of a Newsroom South East Trail, we shall ask our two guests what they're kind of listening to at the moment. I know it's a horrible one, and if you're sort of just listening to records that you bought sort of 10 or 20 years ago, Stewart, it's all right. You know, you don't have to come up with a hit list of...
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah. So what is it then? What's on...
What have I been listening to? The new Sebadoh album comes out soon. And what else? Don't know. I've got a tape of the new John Spencer album. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And what else? Then I went to Phoenix at the weekend. That was really good. So I saw some stuff I never thought I'd like that I really enjoyed actually. Which like I went to a sort of drum and bass night in the dance tent, which is a music that previously has only terrified me when it sort of interrupts me listening to like radio stations that I know as I'm driving home through South London. But it was really great. I really enjoyed Groove Rider and Goldie. Sort of against my will, I found myself thinking, oh, this is just a load of noise, but it's brilliant.
Did
that was good.
Extend the arms and start wiggling the fingers?
I did, but I was the only person in the tent in a Neil Young and Crazy Horse baseball cap. So I sort of turned it round to try and look like a bit of a raver, you know. I seemed to get away with it. It was all right.
Did you and Mr. Herring have music backstage then before you go on? Do you pump yourselves up like, you know...
yeah, we sort of made a tape of sort of stupid records that we did. It was really good, like things like... got a really good cover by Killdozer of Age of Aquarius from Hair, which we put on before we go on, and stuff like that, you know, and Sonic Youth's version of Saplan Pour Moi and stuff like that. It's quite exciting, but makes us laugh a bit. So, you know, that's what we do.
Yeah, we heard that Wimbledon play My Life Street before they go on to play football, so we made a tape of Wimbledon playing football, which we played before we got on stage.
And what about, did the fans would make a fantastic record? I used to live in Wimbledon ages ago, and they just happened to be the local team he hastens to have, but I used to go down and see them, and the fans, they just abused their team. It was extraordinary, you know, they never mind the away team that were, you know, visiting, they just like really had it in for any Wimbledon players that, you know, got near their end of the
I think
pitch.
the Wimbledon team are a bit upset though, because there's more people in My Life Story than their fans put together. So.
Oh, it's like cruel.
I live in Putney, so, you know, I'm allowed to say these things.
I live upstairs from this composer, and he'd been watching the football. He never usually watches football, and he'd watched it, and he was saying, oh, it's amazing, Stu, the crowd, they're like a spontaneous choir. There's this song that they all sing just spontaneously that goes, football's coming home. It's a beautiful image they've come up with. And I said, you do realise, Keith, that is a #1 single at the moment? And he went, oh dear, is it? And he got this idea that the sort of collective mind of football fans had come out with this beautiful statement about how football was rediscovering itself. It's a shame to disillusion him, really.
Yeah. Well, it's probably just some of the more filthier chants are the ones that kind of come up spontaneously.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, I can't really repeat it in the radio, but there was a terrible one that Watford used to do when Elton John came to visit, and
oh, yes.
you know the one?
Can imagine.
Don't sit down and all that. Anyway, here we go. This is the new one from the Wannadies. Hang on a minute. Yeah, it's Robbie. Do you want to take over? Why don't I review the records? It'd be much more sensible, wouldn't it?
We used to sing I Won't Let My Mum Go.
Thankfully your mic was closed while you said that. The Wannadies, Someone Somewhere, which is out on the 12th of August, taken from their forthcoming album Bagsy Me, as if the childish girly vocals weren't enough. The Bagsy Me is the title of the album. I know. They played Phoenix. Did you go down? Did you catch them?
No, I didn't see them.
You were tranced out by that?
I was raving me by then. I've discovered a new life. I've become a raver.
So what did you reckon to the single then?
Oh, it's all right, isn't it? What can you say? It's okay. We were sort of sitting here spotting all the bits that sound like other things, so, you know.
What about you, Jake? Are you a fan of the Wannadies?
Yeah, I mean, they've been going for a hell of a long time.
They should retire and then make a comeback then, and then you can hate them doubly.
I don't dislike it. I mean, there's the prefab sprout bit in the middle we spotted.
Then we were frightened because it went loud.
Yeah, and then we did actually literally jump out of our seats at that loud bit.
Yeah.
I kind of thought the sort of dun 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 dun. I thought that was really sort of like a sort of a youth sitcom on Channel 4. I think someone should definitely from Channel 4 go and use that for their next sitcom. Maybe they could do a sort of Swedish version of Bless This House.
Yeah. Or because what's
Game On? Yeah, did strike.
Yeah. Friends has what's the band that does the theme to Friends?
I don't know.
Anybody know Next Door? No, they're all just like phoning up friends, sorting out pubs and stuff.
I expect it's Hootie and the Bowlfish, probably, isn't it? That would seem appropriate.
It was something a bit more
like
indie than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll take a break for travel and come back and hear new records from Crowded House and from Kill Laura, Mice, and still threatening to squeeze it in, Alice in Chains' new single. Crowded House, Not the Girl You Think You Are, which is out on the 5th of August. Second new song from their platinum-selling Greatest Hits, available on 2 CDs, which feature a combination of 6 tunes recorded at the Swan Song concert in the GLR basement. So I just have to like it for that reason only, because corporate contracts mean that you have to gush unerringly on things that are done here. No, that's not true, but we'll see. Thankfully, you two are here. So, Jake, from My Life Story, you go first.
It's really, to me, sounds like Neil Finn's found the third lost John Lennon sort of tape, and he's just sung his vocal over the top of it, from some New York basement. I mean, they've split up now, and like a lot of bands that split up, and they know they've got to sort of fulfill a certain contract or something. This record does sound very tired to me, and it really, to me, sounds like, he can't wait to sort of walk out of the recording studio and get on with his solo project. Having said that, I am a really big Crowded House fan, and I'm disappointed.
That you were a big Crowded House
Well, because I'm disappointed that they've split up, you see.
Fine, right.
Oh, I am. Honest.
Fine.
I've got to say that I like someone, and they're on the same label as us.
Yeah.
I mean, like getting back to someone like Paul Weller, I mean, he did it the right way, and I mean, Big Surrender was just a fantastic swan song to go out on, and probably was my favourite song the Jam did. In this case, like I said, I'm a big fan of Crowded House, and I find this a bit disappointing. Maybe they're trying to bow out gracefully.
What was it? You were talking about the keyboard sound, and that kind of sort of warm, kind of cloying keyboard sound.
Cloying.
Yeah, sorry, that was from my my third year A Question of Poetry index. Anyway, so what do you reckon?
Well, we were thinking it sounds a little bit like the sort of mellotron that the Beatles used to use on sort of Strawberry Fields, that kind of sound, which used to be it was the very first sampler. It was on each key was an actual tape cassette on each key that would play a loop, and it gives it that kind of weird sound. So there, I've educated you on music twice today.
Hey, thanks.
Starts off saying coda, and it's mellotron before the end of the hour.
Stuart, we won't ask you to come up with some obscure musician term, but what did you reckon to the single?
Well, I hate Crowded House. I think they're awful. In fact, when we did the last series, Fist of Fun, we made up this teacher character who was like 35, had a goatee beard, wore leather trousers, liked to swear in class to impress children, and tried to get off with 16-year-old girls and ride a motorbike. And the thing that really made it clear what he would be like was when we decided that he would obviously like Crowded House and say to the kids, right, okay, we're having a free period today. Listen to this, it's Crowded House, it's a great record. Some really great songwriting on here. It's a lot better than the kind of things you kids listen to. It's obviously what a 35-year-old awful English teacher would like, who sort of, because they're like quite good, aren't they? But they're not good enough to really for anyone to get really excited about it. So I just think it's rubbish. But I mean, that said, I went along Saturday Live when they were on and saw them, and they were quite good live. I thought it was, because they could play all the things in the right places at the right time.
Were you on Saturday Live, presumably as a guest, as opposed to an excited audience member?
Yeah, well, the inside of the gossip I heard was that they thought we were too cerebral to go on it. Which is strange. I think the BBC think we're too pathetic and childish most of the time, so we're in a strange sort of limbo.
But for kids' TV, you're too cerebral.
Yeah, but I mean, But as it turned out, being like too cerebral for Saturday Life wasn't really much of an insult in the end. But there you are, you know. But no, Crowded House on that, you know, they can do it,
It's
can't
right,
they?
split up now. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to do those.
I don't even have to do the apology. Oh, I'm glad they've gone. I hope they never come back.
It's interesting because it is kind of sad and
It's not interesting. What, Crowded House?
No, it's interesting
Oh, right.
that their last sort of material should be very kind of downbeat, and I mean, you could see it as that kind of like tiredness of like, you know, my God, this band's been going a long time. Here's the last couple of songs. It's all right though. I mean, I actually like rather than the song itself, I like the sort of production on it.
You don't.
No, I did like the production on it.
Yeah, all right, okay.
Well, you know, he was trying to close the mics and said it was rubbish. I've never heard it.
Each other's minds.
Yeah.
You don't like that.
All right,
you like Bim Sherman and stuff.
Listen, you just want. We've got a load of Jam fans outside waiting for you. Anyway.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's Crowded House, not the girl you think they are. Indeed. Or not the men they used to be, even. Jake.
I liked it. Can I just say that that's the one I liked out of all of them, even the ones to come.
Can I say it's the one I didn't like? And anyone who says I did like it is lying to try and embarrass me.
But I'm not a school teacher.
True. He's not. I mean, I feel I've been rude to Jake by association, for which I must apologise.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh God, we're all in tears. We better have another record. What will we stick on next? It's Alice in Chains.
Right.
Yeah. Or alternative. No, let's play something else instead.
No, go on. Let's do Alice in Chains.
All right, then.
Good laugh.
Okay. There you go, that's Alice in Chains, unplugged. Sorry we didn't have time to play all of it, despite the fact there's still 7 minutes to go on the show. So did that get you going, Stewart?
No, I mean, I really like a lot of that American grunge stuff, you know, but I mean, they just really, they're like what went wrong with it, aren't they? And you've got a band that are basically a bad heavy metal band, but are able to sort of dress themselves up in the glad rags of having some kind of credibility by coming from Seattle and being on heroin. But the fact is, like, you know, they do half of them dep for Ozzy Osbourne when they're not in Alice in Chains, so they are obviously got no idea. It's awful, that is. And also this unplugged thing, it's not, you know, you can't just like take a dreadful heavy metal song and play it on a clanky acoustic guitar and think it somehow becomes still awful.
Oh, well, Jake, were you similarly depressed by the sound of Alice in Chains?
I found that extremely offensive.
Really? What part? Was it the direct line about you and your band, innit?
Yeah,
Is that what offended you?
like that, yeah. No, I yeah, absolutely right. You know, you can't play heavy metal unplugged, you know, that's just completely against the whole idea of it.
What about Page and Plant, eh? Page and Plant, now there was a...
Well, they threw in a few sitars, you know, kind of like...
I'd rather see AC/DC do it properly with cannons going off than like someone who was essentially AC/DC but was pretending to be Nirvana.
The whole idea about that kind of music is it's massive showbiz, you know. I mean, they're called Alice in Chains, great name, you know. They should be, you know, strutting around in spandex, you know, not sort of like sitting on stools with MTV coloured flowers and...
the word sensitivity doesn't really go with, you know, Alice in Chains or that kind of acoustic thing. Even Nirvana didn't really pull it off.
I like that. I think that's really good.
I agree the same. I thought.
No, you didn't, Stuart. You really hated it.
I thought the Nirvana thing was awful as well.
I didn't like it in Nirvana.
I thought it just completely, you know, what's the point?
Oh, I like that.
Okay, well...
I don't like Crowded House, though.
Yeah, right, but we're going all over the place there. Nirvana and back to record we've already heard. So we'll hear Kill Laura. This is a follow-up to the recent Glossy EP, which was released in April. And
it's a tender acoustic ballad, is it?
I doubt it. Let's see what you think. I was only joking there, that wasn't a mistake. I wonder how many bands have gone,
4.
Thank you, Stuart Lee.
You'll find.
He's a library of information, isn't he?
Yeah.
That is off something. There's another band that's gone,
I think it was the Norwegian Eurovision Song Contest entry last year.
Yeah. Well, let's get serious and get a bit of deep musical analysis. Jake, what did you think of that?
I think it was like Echo Belly without the echo and without the belly.
If I'd seen him write that down, I'd have tried to say it first to appear cleverer than him. It's a really good thing to say that.
Sadly, he had his hand over his notes.
I know, he's not letting me see now.
Selfish schoolboy that he is.
I saw him write down Mellotron, and I was going to say that. And then he said it first.
Did that do anything for you, Stuart?
No, not really, but, you know, at least it's not annoying like Alice in Chains or Crowded House are. It's all right, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
It doesn't do any harm to anyone.
And I used to live in Camden once.
Did you? When did you move? Did a new bunch of indie bands move in then, and you had to you sort of
It's like rats or something.
Yeah,
Get the pest control in, get rid of them. Yeah.
So where do you live now then?
Putney.
Putney?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that, yeah.
I love Putney, it's great.
I used to live down there.
And like, if I walk down the high street in Putney, everyone shouts out, "Oi, Elvis," which I think is fantastic, you know.
What, do you wear your hair differently than when you're in Putney?
It's just because, you know, there's nobody in bands in Putney and it's so refreshing.
I saw Lawrence from Felt on Denham or whatever he's now wandering around in Putney about 5 years. He looked like a tramp then. Really weird.
I think
With
it's
no
'cause he's
hair.
after me because I'm going out with his girlfriend now.
Oh, yeah. Oh God. Oh, now we're in trouble.
Oh yes, I'm sure the pop columnist Andy Coulson and everybody else will be listening in, and
That'll be in Bizarre, that will now.
Oh,
So you're doing the BAC tonight again? Is that right?
No, not
you're
finished. No, going up to Edinburgh next week, end of next week.
Oh, right.
And that's it now. If I don't think I'm working again, any gigs before then. No, that's it. So Edinburgh, and then we're going on tour October, November, and I think we might be doing a major West End London theatre in December.
Oh, excellent.
But I don't know which one it is, and we're still under negotiation.
the George in Putney for me.
Done there. Been booed off there a few times at the George. Yeah.
So what for those that are making the journey up to Edinburgh, is there one aspect of the show that you're going to stun them with that you'd like to tell us about now? Any huge expensive prop that's going to land on the
We've got we've just today we've just arranged to have a stool made especially for the set.
Or Paul Weller stool.
Well, no, a stool that can also be a chair.
Really?
So, it's not exactly Pink Floyd's Collapsing Wall, but that's more props than we've ever used before. I mean, it seems like an inexcusable expense to me, but, there you are. So there'll be a stool in it.
Cut and loose then, Is this a sort of reaction to these sort of heavy metal bands going acoustic? Lee and Herring are just going to do this massive kind of, huge, expensive stool?
Yeah, it's just an ordinary stool, Pete.
Oh.
It's just the stool like you might have in your house or something.
So people can relate to it rather
Yeah, well, it's like, since we've gone on TV, people think we've changed. But the fact is, we would use a stool like anyone would, just for sitting on.
Good, and I'm glad...
There's no change there. Success hasn't spoilt us.
Thanks very much indeed to both of you for coming in. Have a great time up in Edinburgh. And Jake, we look forward to hearing the new My Life Story album. Absolutely. If you can escape the jacuzzis and big hair of Rack Studios. That's it from me. Thanks for listening. If you're around between 4 and 6 next week, you will hear Femme to Femme, Heidi Berry and Lisa Germano playing live. And the great legendary animator Chuck Jones will be here. And Malcolm Hardy will be talking about his biography. I stole Freddie Mercury's birthday cake.
And a stool.
Yeah, indeed. Check your seat before you leave, actually, Jake. Here's Bob.